This.
Man, look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always.
Yes, sir.
Thanksgiving Tuesday. Thanksgiving's Thursday. Short week. Everybody know if you got a job, hopefully you got tomorrow off. Man, this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, typically. I'm excited. NFL Week 12. Week 12. To say that is crazy. It's coming down the stretch. Playoffs are very, very close, and we know who's who and who's not who. And Tom Brady might be on the opposite side of what we thought of that statement, I guess. We thought he'd be a contender. They look suspect. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about NFL Week 12. Salute Joe Burrow. Get well soon. We'll talk that. We'll talk that injury. We're going to kick the show off. First Take Tuesday. Kind of give our first take of the week. You know, we usually shoot Tuesday, Friday. So we're going to give our first take of the week. First Take Tuesday. Then we'll break down NFL Week 12, give a recap of there, talk power rankings. We'll then go into our favorite NBA offseason move so far. Been a lot going on in the NBA. We'll talk the association, our favorite move. And if we got some time, we'll close it out with something else. Big Nick the Quick.
Man, look at Mossy.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Big Nick the Quick. What's happening?
What's the business, man? Get ready for Thursday.
Dog, I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I used to love it a lot more when my pops was around, but I still love it. It's still a good holiday.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We're cooking over here, man. Gonna have the turkey, a few other things. It's gonna be obviously a little bit different this year than years past, but I'm excited, man.
Dog, this is gonna be my first year cooking myself.
I said, so y'all are cooking at the crib?
Yeah, we're cooking at the crib.
What are you doing? What are you making?
Dog, I'm gonna make everything.
Getting the turkey?
I'm gonna get the turkey. We're gonna do the mash. We got everything we need, like all the utensils, the mixers, all that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we went out and got a roasting pan. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've never cooked anything on Thanksgiving ever.
Never
picked up a finger, bro, on Thanksgiving.
Me neither. You know, I'm gonna dabble in a few things here and there, man. I think we're gonna throw the turkey on the smoker, so let that cook for a few hours, and then have a few different things going on inside, man. So it's actually, you know what, man? Like, all things considered, obviously the circumstances are kind of fucked up, but besides that, I'm 100% cool with not having to leave the crib. I'm 100% cool with not having to leave at halftime of some game that I'm interested in, and maybe getting to wherever I'm going by the fourth quarter and catching the end of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with staying in sweats all day. Yeah, I'm fine, man. Like when I was a kid, we used to do holidays at my house. So like ever since I got older and had to start going places for holidays, like I don't particularly enjoy it. So staying at the crib is fine with me. I'm cool. Yeah. I'm gonna wake up on Thursday, do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Crack the bottle nice and early and just kick it.
It's tough because low key, the COVID I think it's making motherfuckers a little too comfortable at the crib. Like motherfuckers like, nah, I'm gonna stay, bro. Like,
shit might open up. Be like, yeah,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Like, things are gonna open up. Like, I'm actually gonna just stay at the crib, bro. I'm good.
You know what though? I was feeling that for a while, but at the same time, if you were to tell me like everything was all clear, like I've said it before, the first place I'm running to the bar.
Yeah, just to post up.
Yeah, and then after that, I'm running to Vegas.
Yes, go on.
Like literally full sprint.
I'm there. I go there.
Turbo, right trigger button to Vegas. RB.
RB to Vegas.
RB
right
to
turbo.
Vegas. Right turbo to Vegas. What the fuck you talking about? Double X.
Spin move to
Vegas. Ooh. Hit stick my way to Vegas. I cannot wait.
Oh man. All right, let's kick this show off. First Take Tuesday. It's early in the week. It's crazy how, man, as soon as I've been looking at lines for football games literally in the middle of Sunday, which is like a little degenerate of me. But First Take Tuesday, just gonna give our first take coming off the weekend, starting off a fresh week. And Big Nick the Quick, go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, my first take coming out the weekend, man, was there are no good NFC teams.
0. Interesting.
There's several interesting NFC teams.
No real ones.
Obviously, there's going to be a team from the NFC that wins it. But, we'll talk about it more in the power rankings. But as you go up and down in the NFC, man, from week to week, from game to game, really from hour to hour, you can pick who your team is that you like. You might be a Bucs fan. You might like the Seahawks. You might like the Saints. You might like the Packers. You know what I mean? You might like the Cardinals. But none of these teams have grabbed or whatever. None of these teams have really risen to the top for the NFC. And I think they all have huge flaws, right? The Packers defense is extremely suspect, and they don't seem to ever really want to kill anybody like they should be. The Seahawks defense, we already know. The Cardinals, they're still a relatively new team. You can kind of go down the line with these NFC teams, and none of them really stand out as that dominant squad. So the situation over there is very, 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 very murky, which could make me think that you could have some random ass team kind of pop up nowhere and get that playoff win.
You're saying it's just wide open.
It's just wide open, but none of them are good. None of them are rising to the top. None of them, like you could have asked us 3 weeks ago, we would have been like, oh yeah, the Seattle Seahawks are the best team in the NFC, hands
You don't think
down.
the Saints are good?
I think they're okay.
Do you just hate Taysom Hill so much that now that he played quarterback?
I don't love Taysom Hill, but I love Drew Brees, but I don't love him when he's in there. I think that they have an issue in like a shootout.
Like pushing the ball up the field.
Yeah, they can't push the ball up the field. I think that they're a well-coached team. Sean Payton is an excellent coach. I think defensively they're pretty good. But they don't necessarily scare me on the offensive side of the ball. And it's not like Taysom Hill was great on Sunday. He was pretty good. A lot better than I thought he would be. But they don't scare me, and they're certainly not dominant, no. You see a dominant team over there? Like, I don't see
no,
I could name I have 4 AFC teams in front of my first NFC team on the power ranking. And it was a struggle to even put that one NFC team in there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, we'll get to that. No, I mean, like I said, I sent you that prop swap ticket. Shout out my guys at Prop Swap. The Rams winning the Super Bowl is a ticket up there. It was a crazy ticket. It pays like 100 to 1.
Yeah, their big question is their quarterback.
But this is the thing. Like, if you can get them to come out of the NFC, then you can hedge out the ticket, and then you got a big payday, right?
Yeah.
Well, it kind of leans to what I was saying. Like, there is no who is the best team in the NFC. You got this. Here's the top of the NFC rankings: New Orleans Saints, Los Angeles Rams, Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Arizona Cardinals, and then you get to the bottom feeders that starts with the Bears.
Yeah.
But
I forgot about the Rams. Yeah, the Rams.
No, yeah. I said the Rams second.
No, I'm saying I said I forgot about the Rams when I was going down my list. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, any of those the top 4 or 5 teams there can win the NFC.
100%.
No question, right? So that's why that Rams ticket kind of had me interested. Like, man,
because they do have like a 20% chance to kind of come in that thing.
And you could get real nimble if they get deep in the playoffs. You could start betting the other side. It's interesting. Okay, I can't be mad at that first take. My first take Tuesday is I'm being too hard on NFL quarterbacks. I need to dial it back because I've caught myself on Sundays and talking about every team in the league and going through the list, and I call their quarterback garbage across the board. There's like 4 teams that I don't get that the quarterback's not garbage. Like, you go through the list. Like, if you ask me, is the Colts quarterback garbage? He's ass. I still don't believe in Philip Rivers.
He's garbage.
I don't, right? Like, Tennessee Titans. I'm not a huge Tannehill fan. I think
garbage.
He's weak. Cleveland Browns. Baker's weak. David Carr's good.
Derek.
Yeah, excuse me.
We got to get my man's name right.
Bro, why is Derek like burned? Is it because we were little when
David Carr was the first pick of the Houston Texans?
Is that why?
I don't know. Did he
burned in our head?
He got sacked 73 times in one season. That was the number.
Yeah, that is the number. So maybe because he kicked off the Texans franchise, I have David Carr in my name instead of Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is decent.
Derek Carr's good.
After the other day,
Derek Carr looks good.
I think it's interesting you went with this real quick because when I was watching Derek Carr the other day, this is kind of what I thought. It was like my barometer for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If you took this guy and you put him on the Chicago Bears, what would our record be? Or like, would we be a lot better? And I really think that you can use that as like a baseline for quarterbacks, right? Like if you were to take quarterback X, put him in the Bears, what would our record be? If you put Derek Carr on the Bears, we would 1,000% be a better football team. We'd probably be 8-2.
We'd be far and away better than we are right now, no question.
But you can't do that with like Gardner Minshew, you know what I mean? But like that's kind of my test right there. So yeah.
So it's like, look, then we get to Baltimore.
More shaky.
Man, hey, I mean it's shaky out there in Baltimore right now, right? Miami, Tua just got benched. Drew Lock is ass. Cam Newton is. I'm never gonna slander Cam Newton, but we know where we're at there. But then we got like Deshaun Watson. He's good, right? But like still out of that whole AFC list, like three of the 15 teams, I'm like, oh, that's a good quarterback. Yeah. Then we get to the NFC. Drew Brees is dust, but he's so mentally smart that he gets it done, right? Then we got Goff. Dude is very suspect. Then we got Aaron Rodgers, my favorite quarterback of all time, the best I've ever seen with my own two eyes. I will go down to the grave with that. He's just
Patrick Mahomes.
He's just different. Well, Mahomes is
firmly on that island now.
Yeah, Mahomes is not there yet, but
Mahomes isn't in the conversations.
Dude, and this is the other thing, and this is kind of where I'm getting and kind of what I'm alluding to is like, can you imagine a young Aaron Rodgers with Andy Reid? Like it'd be the same thing. There'd be he'd look just like Mahomes. There would be no difference. I don't, and maybe he wouldn't be throwing no look passes, but
yeah, I don't think he has the arm talent of Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't ever say arm talent and Aaron Rodgers in the same sentence and not say some of the best you've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just saying that Patrick Mahomes has the best arm talent I have ever seen of any quarterback. As far as being able to throw across the body, as far as being able to throw on a rope, as far as yeah.
Why do we as fans forget so quickly? The next guy comes and now
what
it's
are
like
we forgetting? Aaron Rodgers could be number 2. Kyle Bowler had a live arm too. No disrespect. Just
Yeah. Put Kyle Bowler. We need a running tally of random people that come up on this podcast. It's actually incredible. Kyle
Bowler had a cannon.
But what I'm getting at is all these quarterbacks in the league can't be all ass. Like there can't be only 3 quarterbacks in the entire league that I show some respect. So I'm being too hard on quarterbacks. You know what my new evaluation strategy is or baseline is if you have a good coach and your offensive line is solid and you have skill players and you still stink, then you're a really ass quarterback. That's where I'm at. Simple as that. So for example, like Tannehill should be even better than he is. The run game that he has, the coaching staff that he has, he should be insane, and he's very average.
Yeah. Start off hot.
And the flip side is Deshaun Watson has absolutely no help anywhere, 0. And he still finds a way to produce.
Free Deshaun Watson, man. I said the other day, it's a shame watching Deshaun Watson. I mean, I know it's only been this year, but it seems like it's been like 5 years that he's been in purgatory. But yeah, man, free Deshaun Watson, man. Get him with the right coaching staff. I know people like to say, oh, they're so far away. This is the NFL. You can flip a roster in 6 months. So get him the right talent, get him the right coach. Again, to me, that's still going to be one of the most attractive jobs open in the offseason because you're walking into a franchise quarterback who's under contract and who's going to show up and play for you. So, free Deshaun Watson, man. He's under contract. He's available. He's there. Available 100% to play for you. So, I think, free Deshaun. But I like that take. It is. I find myself doing the same thing, man, especially when it comes to gambling. It's like, I can't gamble on that guy. I'm down to like maybe 1.5 quarterbacks that I'll gamble on every Sunday. And it's like Patrick Mahomes and like Kyler Murray half the time. And
it's like, man, I think I'm being too hard on these quarterbacks, bro, because I'm looking at the whole league and I literally think 75% of the league's quarterback play is garbage. So I'm like, let me.
Part of that could be is because the top quarterbacks are so much better, though. Like when you look at your Mahomes and your Russell Wilsons and those guys, and apparently Derek Carr, those guys are so much better than the rest of the league. And so I mean, I think that's why when you pull up, Rivers is such a bad example because he sucks. But like when you look at a Jared Goff, right? Like Jared Goff, to me, if you watch 4 quarters of Jared Goff, you see it all. He will make a throw that you'll be like, he has the ability to make unbelievable throws. Go back to 2 years ago, I think it was opening week, Rams versus Vikings. Jared Goff made 3 or 4 throws in that game that were elite level throws. And he has made elite level throws, and he has the ability to make elite level throws. But to your point, he just kind of needs to be guided along. He's not going to do it on his own.
Yeah.
But you watch a Jared Goff game, you'll see it all. You'll see elite level throws. You'll see what the fuck is he doing, and you'll see okay quarterback play. So I think, like, you know, the difference is you look at these Wilsons and these Mahomes, and these guys are just all world all the time. Like, Mahomes gets the ball back with 2 minutes the other day, and there's no doubt that they're going to come down and score. You know what I mean? So it's just different when you're watching those guys as opposed to watching a Goff or a Carr or one of these guys. It's just not at that level. So I think you're probably right on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. So then, I mean, that'll lead us right into week 12. I guess what I'm saying is that I need to start looking at it's really hard to be a really good quarterback when your offensive line is ass and your coaching staff is garbage and you don't have any skill players. And it's like guys like I'm killing guys like, what's a good example of like a guy that I just kill?
Phillip Rivers, Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean,
you've been killing Jared Goff.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. And then guys like Matt Ryan like deserve to get murdered. Like the amount of talent he has and what he does is they are man.
How much longer is this thing gonna go on for, man? I'm ready to close the book. I hope Matt Ryan just pulls an Andrew Luck and it's just like I'm just gonna ride off to the sunset.
They're gonna try to put Matt Ryan in the Hall of Fame. They love putting guys like Matt Ryan in the Hall of Fame. That's a whole nother day.
I mean, career numbers, you probably have a case for Matt Ryan in the Hall of Fame.
See, here we go.
I'm just telling you, if you pull up Injustice, we watched Matt Ryan, so we have a different narrative on it. But if Matt Ryan's number wise, I mean, he's 336 touchdowns. He's won an MVP. Career record is going to be good. 55,000 yards. He'll make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So
Phillip Rivers is going to make the Hall of Fame. What are you talking about? They're giving it away nowadays.
All right.
Tony Romo will probably make the Hall of Fame.
Let's get into NFL Week 12. Before we get into the power rankings, I got a couple questions for you. We kind of touched on if the Rams can win the NFC, and we think that the NFC is wide open, and I mean, it's obviously wide open with Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, Saints, whoever else you want to put in there, especially with only one bye now coming up this year for the playoffs. Question number one, Big Nick the Quick, after last night and the whole, let's put the whole season in perspective. Where are we at with Tom Brady right now? Big Nick the Quick, where are we at with Tom Brady?
I mean, a lot of last night wasn't necessarily his fault. He didn't look great. And he's had a couple games this year where he doesn't look great. What was the game where he looked awful? Was that
that was against the Saints the other week?
Saints, yeah. I think if you're Tom Brady,
hey, listen,
you're sitting down.
Hold on, really quick, because I can already see you don't want to say anything outlandish because it's Tom Brady and it's whatever. But like you're watching the game last night. You wake up this morning. I put a mic in your face. What are you thinking about Tom Brady right now?
Coach and quarterback is a marriage, right? And one that was very, very fruitful for him for years. And now he's with a new coach that is nowhere near the level of his old coach, which is relying on Tom to do a lot more. And he's 41 years old and he's struggling with that.
But my excuse anyway for him last year was, bro, y'all left him out there in New England with no skill players, no talent, none of that. And of course he struggles. Now, can't really argue with and listen, and we've seen basketball, football, many teams just
you can't just come together.
Just like throw a bunch of people together and hope it works out. But like some of these guys were already there. Godwin was already there. Evans was already there. Like they had pieces.
I've been telling you all year the problem there, man. I've been telling you all year my issue with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Bruce Arians. I do not trust him. Don't trust him as a coach. I don't think he did a great job last night. I don't think he does a great job overall. I think they will win games because of their talent, but I don't think he's necessarily like in there hunting for an advantage and giving that to his team, and his team is going out there and playing on that. Like, that's what Belichick and those guys do. You know what I'm saying? They're watching how the fucking special teams coach lines up and you know what I'm saying, getting a tendency off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, little things like that. Yeah, every single edge you could possibly imagine they have. I don't think you're getting that. So Tom is probably used to walking in there with a binder this big full of everything that's going to go on in the game. Now he's getting one like this, which is forcing him to have to do a lot more. He's a 41-year-old quarterback, and you can't put that all on him. You have all this talent. I get it. But, yeah, you've seen it all the time, man. Like, you can throw talent all over the place. If you don't have the right person to put it together and make it pop, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas in New England is the flip side. You don't necessarily need a ton of talent, but if you have the right ingredients, you have the right person kind of putting it all together, mixed with Tom Brady, obviously, I'm not putting it all on Belichick, then it works. So I think that this Tampa Bay thing was thrown together really quick, in my opinion, with no offseason. And you kind of expected these guys to come out and just let off fireworks, and it hasn't been that.
I think that is always the case, right? You make a bunch of big splash off-season stuff, and you're like, all right, this needs to work right now immediately. It never works out like that. Didn't work out for LeBron in Miami. Didn't work out for LeBron's first year. It just doesn't work like that. You need a year, whatever, to get acclimated. I think you're overthinking it a little bit. I think it comes down to this guy's old, and when you put his entire career, and just so I'm being fair, almost all quarterbacks, if you pressure, they're going to struggle. Some do better with it. Some do better than most. The guys that are mobile can move around, whatever. But his entire career, if you put pressure on Tom Brady, he had a harder time. Now that he's older, extremely old for NFL standards, the pressure is now debilitating. He can't do anything. And now he's starting to see ghosts when he gets pressure, when the pressure's not even there.
For sure.
So if you watched the game last night, the Rams were getting pressure. Brady would struggle. And then when they weren't even getting pressure, he was sitting in a clean pocket. He was trying to get rid of the ball because he felt like pressure was either on its way or he wasn't feeling it or whatever it was. But it's like the Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like when he was getting pressure, it was legit. And then when he wasn't getting pressure, he felt like he was getting pressure and he was trying to get out of the ball. I was trying to get rid of the ball. Some of these throws and interceptions that I'm seeing from Tom, I've never seen before in his entire career. I'm talking about shaking your head interceptions. Like, what is he looking at type of thing? I'm going to tell you this. For the rest of the season, any team that can get pressure on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I will be betting on them. Period, point blank. I don't care the quality of the squad. If they create havoc and pressure, give me them, because Brady's going to struggle. Doug, loss against the Saints, tons of pressure. He lost to the Bears at Chicago, pressure. He lost to the Saints again, pressure. Lost to the Rams last night, pressure. So all this people talking about Tom Brady can't win on prime time because it's too late at night and he's usually sleeping. Have you heard that take, by the way?
No, but I heard that Bruce Arians had them practice at night this week.
So allegedly, people think that since Tom's so regimented and he goes to bed at 8 p.m. because he's like, super health freak and all that, TB12, that by the time these primetime games start, he would typically be in bed, so he's sluggish.
I have one thing to say. I've seen Tom in quite a few primetime games that take place on a Sunday in February at night, mind you, and he does just fine in those.
And they're saying he's getting older, though. That's
Super Bowl is a nighttime game, and I think that doesn't get more primetime than that. He's always performed pretty well in those joints. So
Doug Kazarian take.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is, but he should should stay where he's at. No, you're making a good point. Look, man, you go get a 42-year-old quarterback, you need to focus all of your energy on protecting him. That's what New England was doing the last 5 years. That's kind of where it fell apart for them last year, is they couldn't hold up in protection for him, and that's when you saw the cracks start to be there. So, yeah, if you're them, you need to focus on 100% protecting him. Does that come down to Arians or is that personnel? I'm not too familiar with their line enough to know if some of these guys are just straight ass, but you need to scheme to protect him because, yeah, he can't take hits. And to your point, he knows he can't take hits. So, yeah, if he's feeling that pressure, he's getting away from it. He's getting rid of the ball because when you're 42 years old, those hits linger for a couple of days longer.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw him trying to get rid of the ball and get it to Fournette. He was just
Yeah.
trying to get rid of the ball on multiple occasions where
I also think they got too many guys, dude. They like Fournette, Joe. You just got a whole bunch of guys that I feel like he wants to get involved, and it's just there's just too many guys. Like
you think that Brady thinks about that? I need to get all these guys involved, or he doesn't? You think he gives a fuck how many catches?
I think maybe Arians does, and maybe that has to do with some of your personnel mixings and stuff like that. I'm not sure. It's just every time I look up, it's like a new guy that's on the Bucks that I didn't even realize was on the Bucks. They just got guys all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't trust that team, and I haven't. I've been on this all year. I do not trust that team, especially after I saw them play the Bears and I saw Arians lead one of the most undisciplined ball clubs I've ever seen. Yeah. I have zero trust in that team. That's going to end. It's going to be a disappointment.
Yeah,
that team will not come out of the NFC.
No, it won't, and they won't win the division either.
Yeah, if I could short the Bucks, let me find that because they're not. It's not happening.
All right, let me before we get into power rankings. Last question: Where do you put the Raiders in the AFC, and can they make some real noise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'll say this: they seem to be a good matchup for the Raiders or the Chiefs. I mean,
yeah,
they only play twice a year, and they played them. They beat them once, and then they played them extremely tough the second game and could have beat them.
Yeah. So yeah, they got those games out the way now, right? So they have the rest of their division is ass. It's the Broncos and the Chargers. So those are all W's right there.
Yeah,
dude, I've said this a couple times too, man. I like what the Raiders doing, man. I think they know what they want to do. They have a solid identity. Derek Carr is a good player. Derek Carr is not scared. He makes the right plays. I'll say this too, man. If you listen to broadcasts now, they now always have these little tidbits of John Gruden like saying great things about Derek Carr, which is shocking to me because you remember Hard Knocks last year. John Gruden could not wait to get away from this guy. Couldn't stand his quarterback. We talk about it every week. Last night on Hard Knocks, John Gruden, it's like clear how much he hates Derek Carr. Now he's like talking glowingly about the guy. So I'll give it to Carr. I'm sure Carr knew, hey, my head coach doesn't fuck with me. I'm going to spend the next year getting this guy to like me and fucking understand what I'm about. I'm going to bust my ass and do all that. That's a good football team, man. I think that's a good team. I would not want to see them in the playoffs at all. I think they're well coached. They have a quarterback, and
last year
they're confident too.
Last year was their first year together, and we drilled it all the time. Gruden just didn't like Derek Carr. It was obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Just move away from him on the sidelines.
Yeah, like he didn't think Derek Carr could get it done. Now, I think he has confidence in Derek Carr. He likes Derek Carr. They're more familiar with each other. The game plan and the offense that John Gruden called against the Chiefs the other night was awesome.
Yeah.
They were moving the ball up and down the field. Jacobs, their tailback, is sensational. I knew he was really good. For whatever reason, I didn't know he went to Alabama. So
he was another one of those backups.
This is a feature back.
You should draft whoever Alabama's recruiting right now at running back.
He needs to be on your tailback board.
Yeah, whoever it is.
Your tailback board should be the Alabama depth chart at tailback. Yeah. Period. That's it.
All these guys are all over the place.
These are thoroughbred horses that play running back coming out of Alabama. He's good. They got Waller, who's a freak.
He's good, man.
He's a monster. So Hunter Renfrow is who you want in the slot for the next 10 years.
Yeah, he's a perfect slot receiver. Yeah.
All he does is catch the rock, doesn't say a word. You got him back there for punt returns. He'll never drop one. Hey, put it like this. Hunter Renfrow will never take one to the house, but he'll never muff a punt either.
Yeah.
So if you can put Hunter Renfrow back there and you're guaranteed to either confirm a fair catch or pick up 15 yards, then you put him back there.
If you threw Renfrow on the Brady era Patriots, he'd have 150 catches.
For 6 years in a row.
Yeah, easily would have 150 catches. No, you're right, man. I mean, they got some players over there, and you can tell that they play. Gruden's a confident coach, and you can tell he's in that locker room just inspiring confidence every single day in those guys. Absolutely. They play with a lot of attitude. They play like they want to be there. They're not scared. Dude, Derek Carr has completed 70% of his passes and has only thrown 3 picks. So I don't want to hear it, man. He's putting up good numbers.
He was making great decisions the other night.
Yeah.
he looked really good, man.
He looked really good.
And they honestly just left. They just left too much time on the clock.
And they played against the fucking Chiefs. I mean, yeah, you give Patrick Mahomes 2 minutes. It's like, yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I even said it in the group chat. I'm like, Oakland better slow down.
Yeah.
And then I said the Chiefs better slow down. The Chiefs went down, scored right away, and then they left some time. But Carr ended up turning it over to end the game. But
I don't count that one though, man. That was like it was a Hail Mary heave at the end of you cannot count that as like a real pick.
Yeah.
That needs to go in like the other category. Yeah, the way he's got 2 picks on the year is how I look at it.
Yeah. So
yeah, but
they're good. They're solid.
Pretty good, man. They're good. Way better than I thought after watching Hard Knocks. I thought that team was going to be ass. And hey, don't forget, John Gruden doesn't need a stud to win. John Gruden won a Super Bowl with, you ready for another name? Brad Johnson.
Oh, man, but you want to talk about naming studs on that D.
Yeah, the D was crazy.
You could go on forever.
Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, John Lynch.
Who played corner on those teams?
The dude
Barber?
Dexter, whatever his name is, won the Dexter Jackson. I think he won the Super Bowl MVP.
Wasn't Rondé on those teams too?
Yeah, Rondé Barber was on those squads.
Yeah, man, that squad was loaded.
They're loaded.
And
work done.
And work done. Yeah, that squad was loaded.
Shout out work done, man.
Shout out our guy on. Shout out Tony Dungy. That's what needs to be. That's
Tony Gonzalez was on that team, wasn't he?
No, Tony Gonzalez was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Atlanta and the Chiefs. My bad.
Chiefs, Atlanta. Yeah. So it's interesting, man. AFC's interesting.
Shout out Simeon Rice.
Hey, look, if you can keep up with the best team in the AFC, then you can keep up with the AFC. And the Raiders seem to be able to keep up with the Chiefs. Division rivalries, put it how you want, but they can keep up with those boys, and it's apparent. Hey, really quick, give me 10 seconds before we get into. I guess we could actually. I'll save it. I'll save the question for power rankings because I'm going to ask you about that in power rankings. All right, moving over to power rankings, we're going to go 5 through 1. We're going to give our top 5 power rankings, and we're going to go bottom to top, and then we'll go through why we got them there. Big Nick the Quick, give me your number 5 on the power rankings currently in the NFL.
Had to pick an NFC team, so I went with Seattle just because they have the best player. So that's
best player what in the NFC?
The best player out of the NFC teams that I was going at. Yeah.
Okay.
They have Russ Wilson.
Nothing else.
Their defense is super suspect. Which again, it was hard for me to put an NFC team in here, but I think that because of how Russ is playing and the highs that he's capable of hitting, they always have a chance to win the game, to win any game against anybody.
Yeah, no question. I think I also have Seattle at number 5. Yeah. And the reason, like you said, it could have been tough to put them. It was tough to slot them in there, but Russell Wilson, they had a big win against a division team, and their defense has been playing better. They played solid against against the Los Angeles Rams. They played solid against Kyler Murray. And Adams is back running around a little bit. They're not very good on D, but they've been a little better. And we were able to make some money on them this week because I was like, yo, defense played a little better. Prime time, give me Russell Wilson. And like you said, Russell Wilson is that guy. So I'll have no problem putting a 7-3 team in the 5th in the power ranking slot with Russell Wilson at the helm. Give me your number 4.
Didn't have this team in there previously, but I do believe that this quarterback has turned it around, as much as it pains me to say it. And they have a stellar defense. Indianapolis Colts.
Wow. Why?
Love their defense.
Love
their defense, and I feel like Rivers has played better. He was awful to start the year. You cannot overstate how bad he was first half of the season. I feel like in the second half of the season, in particular on Sunday, he played well, man.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, and they do, and I will say they do have a solid defense. Because I'm asking you this because I don't have the Colts in my 5.
Yeah.
That solid defense was getting shredded on Sunday by Aaron Rodgers in the first half. I'm talking about they were non-existent.
Yeah.
I was on the over. They got shredded. The over almost hit in the first half. I think their defense might be getting a little bit too much love. It's good, but I've seen them on multiple games get exposed when they're actually playing some talent. Let me pull up the schedule. Like, sure, they gave up 11 points to the Vikings. They gave up 7 points to the Jets. They gave up 11. They gave up 11 to the Bears. They gave up 32 to the Browns. They gave up 27 to the Bengals. They gave up 20 plus to the Lions. Then they locked up the Ravens, or they gave up 24 to the Ravens at home, and the Ravens have been struggling. Then they smoked out the Titans, and then they gave up 31 points. And honestly, in that overtime game, if Valdez-Scantling doesn't fumble that ball, I think Aaron Rodgers goes right down the field and scores a touchdown. The game's over in overtime. So
still only giving up 20 points a game, though, on average. So, I mean, I understand they got some games where they've gotten blown up on average, giving up 20 points a game, which is fifth in the NFL.
I hear you, but I think it's a little tainted because the very low numbers that are on their list are the Vikings, Jets, Bears.
And you cannot run on them.
Well, I hear you. They're a solid unit. I think they're a tad overrated. Okay. Like if you look at this box score, Aaron Jones, he only had 41 yards. Yeah, they only gave 66 yards. Yeah.
So you have to throw on them. I mean, yeah, you have to throw on them. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I like it. I think the unit itself is a little overrated, and I don't trust Phillip Rivers. That's why I don't have them in my top 5. But I'm interested to see who, because I'm looking at the 4 that I have left. I'm interested to see who you don't have in this list. Number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills. This was a tough slot because their D is also suspect. But I think you have to lean more towards offense in the NFL and what it's built like today. And I think the Bills can put up a lot of points and can win a game in a shootout. And that's what you need to do nowadays in the NFL. I can't believe I'm saying this. I trust Josh Allen fully. I think they have great coaching as well. So I got Buffalo at 4. Any comments?
Nope, because I got Buffalo at 3.
Okay, for sure. Why? You got them at 3. Why? Mm-hmm. So
I think that you saw their kind of rough patch and they've gotten over it. I was very impressed with the game in Arizona. They went to Arizona and won that game, right?
They went to Arizona and lost on that Hail Mary, but
on the Hail Mary, yeah. Just overall, which is a game that I thought that they were going to get absolutely blown out in. They had another big road win, though, didn't they? Have a game. They had a road win that I thought that they had zero chance in, that they went in and won. I think it was Las Vegas.
They beat the Raiders. They beat the Dolphins on the road. They have 3 losses. One's at the Titans, then the other one's the Chiefs.
Yep.
And then they lost on the Hail Mary at Arizona.
Yeah. So exactly, lost to the Chiefs and the Hail Mary at Arizona. So I really like Josh Allen. I really like this McDermott guy coaching. Their defense is suspect, but we have seen them at least last year play well. So hopefully that's still in there. But I think offensively, they're just explosive, man. Stephon Diggs is playing some of the best wide receiver in the NFL that no one's talking about. Again, identity. Teams that know who they are. I love teams that know who they are. You went over the Josh Allen red zone numbers before. He's crazy. Lethal. He's lethal if they get down there. And I think that he's just a tough guy to defend. I think that there's not much you can do with him. He's so big that he's got a lot of escapability. Like I said, he's a way more athletic Ben Roethlisberger with the same type of arm strength. And that team is good.
Bigger arm.
Bigger arm than Roethlisberger. Yeah,
he's
and he just gets better every week, which is the crazy thing. It's like he's starting to realize, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like I'm getting better, and there's more that I can do with my game.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a problem. So yeah, I got him at 4. Big Nick the Quick has him at 3. So then we know who your last 2 teams are. So my number 3 is the New Orleans Saints. Like them or not, their run defense is the best in the league, and it's been that for years now. You want to talk about not being able to run on the Colts? You cannot run the ball on the New Orleans Saints. Their defense is stellar. Their coaching staff is so trustworthy. Sean, if I need a game plan, an offensive game plan drawn up going into a week, I'm picking Sean Payton. Regardless of the roster, I mean, you can argue Andy Reid, right? But if
Sean Payton,
if the roster is not Pat Mahomes, then I'm taking Sean Payton. The stuff that he comes up with and does, and he gets the most out of all his talent guys. The fact that Taysom Hill is even in the league, honestly, at the quarterback position and not fullback or whatever, is purely on Sean Payton. So I got to go with the Saints at 3. They play really well at home. Obviously, they're just tough, man, and they've always been tough. And if Breeze continues not to get rid of the ball and they play solid defense and can continue to lean on Kamara to get yak and chip away 8-12 yards down the field with Mike Thomas and guys like that, they're going to be a problem. So I got the New Orleans Saints number 3.
Okay.
So your number 2 is the Chiefs then.
Yep.
Did you think about putting them at 1?
I thought about it. I just, the Steelers haven't given me a reason to not have them at 1.
You just can't disrespect them.
Just can't disrespect. These guys keep winning, man. You know what I mean? Like they keep winning.
You know how hard it's to go 10-0, bro?
And how many letdowns? We've picked letdown spots for them on each of the last 3 weeks. Like, oh, this is a letdown. This is a look ahead. This is a letdown. This is a look ahead. And he just keeps those boys fully prepared every single week. I love Mike Tomlin. Tomlin 2024, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Mike Tomlin, man. He could coach my football team, my basketball team, my baseball team. I don't give a fuck what team. I love that guy. He's just so straightforward too. It's just
And I'm tripping. This little graphic should say NFL Week 11 recap. We got Week 12 coming up, but we're talking Week 11. But when you see his eyes, he's very intense. When he doesn't have the aviators on,
in the
fro, he's very intense. And he's rocking the neck gaiter too. Never was going to put a mask on. He's rocking the scarf.
What do you think? What do you think Mike Tomlin drinks?
Oh, big time Scotch guy.
You think he's a Scotch? I get Scotch vibes, like no question.
No question.
Move that 18 year.
Yeah. No question. He drinks Scotch. Absolutely no question. He either drinks Scotch or he doesn't drink.
Yeah,
it might be one of those things. Or he's like, I don't drink.
He could be biblical.
Yeah.
What does Mike Tomlin drive? I can see Mike Tomlin in the Expedition.
I could see him in a Cadillac.
Don't do it like that.
I didn't want
the 32V North Star.
I didn't want to say caddy off top, but I could see him pulling up in the DeVille.
No, I see him in an Explorer Expedition.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what Mike Tomlin.
What does Mike Tomlin whip?
That's a good ass question. What does Mike Tomlin drive?
We need to find out. Someone find out what Mike Tomlin is whipping nowadays. Because I see him as an SUV guy. You look at Mike Tomlin's car.
Let me see Mike Tomlin car.
An all black SUV with the tents.
Am I petty for saying that he's in the caddy?
Yeah, he's not in the 32V. In the DeVille already? Nothing?
No, I don't see any pictures of him getting out the whip. They got a picture of him driving like a ride along thing, but it's a truck. It looks like a Suburban or something. But
what if they had said Mike Tomlin getting out the Aventador like on a Tuesday?
That's not his style. But
shout out Mike Tomlin. But back to that. Yeah, I had them number 1. Again, they have not lost a ball game. I think that they're going to handle the Ravens on Thursday. I think they're going to absolutely handle.
So?
I think they're going to handle the Ravens. I think after watching that Ravens game on Sunday, that team cannot produce a big play to save their life.
No, they can't.
They cannot. They have no. You think a team with a quarterback that runs a 4.29 would be explosive? They lack explosion. They are so boring to watch. No big play capability at all. Yeah, I think the Steelers are gonna. I think the Steelers are not concerned about them in the least bit. I see a Ben Roethlisberger 4-touchdown piece.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't think being Thanksgiving puts a little extra short week, makes it a little tighter?
Nah, because Ben it depends on whether or not he ate or not. If he doesn't eat, he's good to go.
Game's in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, game's in Baltimore. I don't know. They did. I don't know, man. That's a tough game to handicap.
Well, at what point are we going to sit here and be like, "Yo, the Ravens are who they are at this point"?
No, let's be real. Like, when are we going to say they're ass?
Yeah, they're a good defensive team. That offense is terrible.
Yeah.
And unimaginative and lacks explosion and doesn't scare anybody.
Yeah, I feel you. I got for my second pick, I have the Chiefs at number 2 as well. I think my question for you, this is what I was getting back at a couple minutes ago, was I have the Chiefs at number 2. Obviously, we know the deal. We have Mahomes, we have Andy Reid. I have never in my life, I don't know if it was how the game was going or the game flow or Mahomes, when they had 1 minute and 40 seconds to go down and they needed either 3 or a touchdown to win the game, I was 100% positive they were going to go down and score a touchdown Sunday night. Like, I had absolutely no.
So was the sports book.
Yeah.
The Raiders were plus money that entire drive, and they were up 3.
Yeah, like I was just kind of sitting there like, yeah, they're going to score a touchdown for sure.
You could have live bet the Raiders when they were up.
Yeah.
With 100 seconds left.
So it was
there was
like
no
that.
doubt. It was no doubt. It was no doubt. My dad called me after the game and he was just like, yeah, I mean that he's like, I can't. He called me because like, I can't stand watching these guys play quarterback like this, and we got to watch our guys. Yeah. Like, why can't we do this?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, there was never a doubt for me on that one. He's
different.
He's different, man. He's just bred differently.
Yeah, he's different. So yeah, I got Pittsburgh at number 1 as well. They got 10 wins. You can't argue. I don't care if it's against
10 of them.
Well, if they played the Jets 10 times in a row, they'd probably
It's hard to win 10 games. It's hard to win 10 in a row.
It's hard to win 10 in a row in the NFL. It's
especially this NFL. And they've had their shit's been fucked up because of COVID too. They've had games canceled. They've had no bye week.
Yep. And for the most part, they're winning these games handily.
Yeah, they're not in tight games.
Baltimore was the only game where they were getting dominated until the second half, where then Lamar started turning it over. He was struggling, but yeah, they've been winning these games pretty easily. So,
and I think Ben is putting up numbers. Like, I mean,
he's throwing the ball to Claypool all day.
Claypool is a monster. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger has 24 touchdowns already. Like,
yeah, so
I'm playing with him.
Yeah, exactly. So,
is Ben Roethlisberger a Hall of Famer?
Yes. What?
Right.
First ballot.
I thought you were gonna. Yeah, I thought she was gonna go crazy.
Nah. I don't like the guy. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot pervert. First ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot pervert. First ballot Hall of Famer. Ben Roethlisberger. Put that on the plaque.
Never watched film in his life.
Banyo Ben.
Banyo.
So yeah, man, they're tough. The AFC up there is tough.
Oh, and another guy. Speaking of Steelers, Deontay Johnson. Where are we finding these guys?
Yeah,
no, they just find guys to play receiver.
But like I was saying before,
teach them how to play.
They got good coaching. They have a good offensive line, and they have skill players. So Roethlisberger, you better be solid.
Yeah, well, he always has been.
Because everything else around you is sound.
He always has been. He's always done his job.
Yeah, no question.
Except for in the offseason, he always does his job.
Let's move over to the association. NBA. Man, hoops is the best.
Can we apologize to the people real quick? I know we've kind of left. Oh, no, I guess we had good basketball talk last week. Never mind.
We talked good basketball talk last week.
Bucketsworth, that was great.
Yeah, shout out our boy Bucketsworth. I'm going to try to get a couple more people on later this week, and we could chop it up about basketball exclusively because, that's always fun.
Yeah.
But NBA, hey, man, the NFL gets first toke, especially in season. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But Over to the NBA. Big Nick the Quick.
A flurry
of moves.
Flurry of activity.
Shout out my boy Bertans getting that bag. He's underpaid.
80 mil for Sean's guy, man. Sean's seen it.
Bertans, my boy.
He saw it ahead of time. 80 mil.
Bertans got the strap.
Dog, even he was surprised he got 80 mil.
Absolutely not. He deserved every penny. That boy got the heater. He's nice. Shout out my boy D Bertans. But flurry of moves. We got Bogdanovich saying, I'm not going to Milwaukee to play with the 2-time MVP. I'd rather go to Atlanta.
He's been on 3 teams this week. Which is
a whole podcast. Who was that an indictment on? We could talk about that. Actually, I want to ask you about that. But we got Bogdanovich, my favorite Bogdanovich, said no thanks to Milwaukee. I'm going to go to Atlanta. He's in Atlanta. Gallinari's in Atlanta. Dennis Schroeder is in LA. We got Gordon Hayward getting $120 million, and word on the street, he was getting offers of $100 million plus from Utah and from Boston. So it wasn't only Michael Jordan, but he took the biggest dollar. That was Charlotte. What's your most interesting move, best offseason move? What you got?
Oh, I think the Chris Paul to Phoenix, hands down. I know there's been a lot of activity. I know there's been a lot of this, a lot of that. I think that has the potential to be the most, I'm not going to say like overall, but yeah, it could be the most impactful move. I think if I'm Devin Booker, I'm looking at it now and saying, okay, I have a real opportunity to get in the playoffs to start to make my legacy. Obviously, we went 8-0 in the bubble. We were a feel-good story. People know what I can do off. I have a name for myself, but I haven't been in the playoffs. I haven't had an opportunity to kind of showcase on that biggest stage. And if you're Phoenix, man, we talked about last week, that's the definition of a rudderless franchise, right? They're constantly stuck in the lottery. They haven't been good since the 7 seconds or less team, and they need to make a move. It couldn't be another year of just going to the lottery and hoping that you get a player and ending up with Josh Jackson or Dragon Bender or some other guy that you whiff on. Go ahead, make that Chris Paul deal, right? Bring in a professional who can still play. Like, I get Chris Paul's old, but he put up 18 and 8 last year and was very, 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 very impactful. Right? Very impactful. Like, there is still good basketball there. You got to worry about him getting injured. I get it. That contract isn't attractive. I get it. But at the same time, if you're Phoenix, you got to make a move, because the next star to raise their hand and say, hey, get me up out of town is Devin Booker. If you think Devin Booker's people aren't in his ears like, hey, man, we need to get you up out of here, man. You see what's going on with Donovan Mitchell and all these guys. They're exploding by winning in the playoffs. You're just over here putting up numbers for no reason. So, yeah, bring in Chris Paul, pay the money, right? He's going to point that thing in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, I don't think Chris Paul's not going to come in there and play bad basketball, right? You have to worry about him getting hurt, but he's not going to come in there and play bad basketball. And if you're worried about him being an asshole and bossing everybody around, that might be what you need, because what you have been doing has not been working. And you know who's really happy about Chris Paul? DeAndre Ayton. Nothing a big man loves more than somebody who's going to get on the ball. And Chris Paul, ask Blake Griffin, ask fucking David West, ask any big man who's ever had the pleasure of playing with Chris Paul. Love him or hate him, DeAndre Jordan, all them boys got paid. He's going to get you the rock. He's going to get you the rock. No question. Yeah, Ayton, I think, is a wild card in this. Like, Ayton, let's not forget, 2 years ago, this guy is a man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, love it.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. Me and my guy, Rye Kelly, shout out my boy Kello in London currently. We got a little wager. I got this. He bet. He thinks the Suns aren't going to the playoffs. I said they are. So yeah. It's interesting with the little 7-10 play-in, but yeah, I think Phoenix is going to make a little bit of noise. So I had to take that. I mean, we got Montrezl Harrell to the Lakers. He said Clippers didn't want him.
I thought he was going to get more money.
I think he didn't care.
2 years, $19 million. I thought he could have got a lot more bread than that.
The Lakers have a fucking whip.
What did I tell you?
The Lakers.
Hey, can we go back to a month ago when I told you what was going to happen? What did I tell you?
Remind me. Refresh the listeners.
I literally sat up here and told y'all what's going to happen. People are going to start. They're going to see what happened with Dwight, with Rondo, with KCP, with all these guys who played with LeBron this year, won a championship, and what it did for them. And you're going to start having guys flocking over there. Montrezl Harrell. Schroeder, I know he got traded for the low, but whatever. These guys are going to go over there and say, you know what's not a bad thing? Going over to LA, winning a ring with LeBron, fixing my image, whatever it might be, and then being great. Dwight Howard is the perfect example of this. Literally full on JaVale McGee, 3-time NBA champion, mind you. Say it with some respect. Like these guys, yes, guys are going to go play with LeBron. Everybody's going to want to be at the end of this too. It's like, oh, this is the end of LeBron ride. It's kind of like they watched The Last Dance. You want to be able to say you played with this guy. So I'm going to go get my ring with LeBron because nobody's beating those guys. I don't want to hear it. Nobody's beating them. Nobody.
You have anything to say about Paul George?
Pandemic P? Nothing. What about him? What, did he do something? Did he ask for a trade?
No. I was saying like the Clippers don't have a shot. No.
I know the Clippers do not have a shot. No, the Clippers don't have enough. The Clippers, I hopefully they can fix it, fix whatever was wrong with them last year. But again, that LeBron and AD combination is too much.
The Lakers are
on the floor. It's just too much.
Stuffed.
It was too much last year with nobody.
It was
around them.
It was too much last year with Danny Green.
KCP just got $40 million, man, and I told y'all that KCP they owed him money. He got his money back. Shout out Rich Paul for staying true to his word on that. But yeah, I don't see anybody beating that team.
They're loaded.
They're loaded with just those two.
Let me ask you this: do you think Harold, Montrez, or Schroeder is a bigger pickup?
Man.
I mean, those are literally two of the top 3 6-man.
I think probably Montrezl Harrell is.
Montrez picked up. He won the 6-man.
Yeah, I'd probably say Harrell is because just another big, and them going big last year was what teams couldn't handle. Schroeder is hot or cold. I like Schroeder, but he's hot or cold. I think with Schroeder, if he's cold, they'll have no problem parking him on the bench and not seeing him for the rest of the game. That's the kind of player that he is.
I love Schroeder's game.
He's going
to bring a lot of buckets to that second unit. They're going to be really good, man.
Yeah. That's your move, Schroeder, to the Lakers?
Yes, Schroeder's my move. I think he brings the quickness, and I think he's a very confident dude, but I think playing with Chris Paul kind of brought him down to earth a little bit and kind of showed him how you're supposed to be running things, and I think LeBron's going to do the same thing. I think that's a massive pickup for the Lakers.
He can play.
He could play.
He can play.
Hoop. He'll play. He's not as elite on D as Rondo, but no one's Rondo because that's my dog.
Rondo got paid too.
Yeah, but Dennis is good. And then that actually leads me into my second question. But before we wrap it up and move off this, what is Atlanta trying to do? Atlanta adds Rondo. Atlanta adds Bogdanovich. Atlanta adds Gallinari. What's going on over there? What do you think they're trying to do? They're
trying to shoot 153s a game, but I think that Atlanta is thirsty to get Trae Young in the playoffs.
They just have
thirsty. Yeah. They're rushing it, which I think is really stupid. Because I think you have the opportunity to kind of build this team out, right, and kind of see what Trae Young is. Instead, you've already said, okay, Trae Young's the man, and we're just going to put as many pieces as we can. And while these might look good for 1 or 2 years, eventually, like, man, these deals you got to pay, right? So yeah, I applaud them for being bold, right? Like you always want your GMs to be bold and to try to make moves and try to go into win now mode, try to make a play, do something. Yeah. So I applaud them for that because we're over here with the Bulls always talking about, oh, we don't do anything. I just don't know if paying that much money to Gallo and Bogdanovich is going to get you there. But at the same time, you are surrounding Trae Young with elite shooting. He's an elite shooter. You clearly have a style of play that you're going for this year that's going to involve shooting as many threes. You thought Houston shot a lot of threes. These boys, it's just going to be bombs away.
Absolutely.
And then you bring in Rondo, which is kind of, I guess, interesting because he's going to look around like, what the hell is this? But I already told you about the Rondo deal. The Rondo deal was signed so that he can get traded 2 months into it. He just wanted to get his money.
He just wanted to lock in some bread.
Yeah, he just wanted to lock in the bread. And he's like, 2 months into it, he's going to be like, yeah, I don't like it here in Atlanta. Get me the fuck out of here. Who's a contender that needs me? Clippers, you guys need a point guard still? Hey, I'm available.
Yeah, whoever's going to be in the finals. Y'all probably
that was just to get the checker. That's all it was, man.
Shout out my boy
Shout
Rondo.
out Rondo, man.
I mean-
I'll pick up my quick 10 million.
I think we say this all the time, or at least I know I say it. There's just different tiers in what you would consider a successful year, right?
Yeah.
A successful year for the Atlanta Hawks would be making the playoffs and contending to win a first round series, and that's what they can do.
And making Trae Young a superstar.
Yeah, they're just like Phoenix.
Yeah.
They're Phoenix and Atlanta are the same team. One's in the East, one's in the West. They're just trying to make the playoffs and make a little noise to where something they haven't done in a decade plus.
And they're trying to build some excitement around there. I get it.
Around their young players.
They want to be, yeah. If you go to the playoffs and Trae Young has a 50-point game and you can market that and you're selling some tickets to fans and the city's buzzing and that's obviously Atlanta. It's cracking, like everybody wants to be there, or whatever. Like it'll be good vibes for them. So I get it. I just feel like you're throwing a lot of money on guys who aren't necessarily gonna It's not a long-term strategy for me. It's a very short-term 8th seed. 7th Street strategy.
They got some straps over there. Bogdanovich, Gallo.
Yeah, that's fine. What is Gallo's 4-year deal? Gallo, I thought he was like 40 years old. I don't know how he keeps getting deals. He's good. But he's been in the league forever, I feel like.
Yeah, he got knee injuries and shit. But hey, man, we'll see. They'll be fun to watch.
He's only 32. That's crazy.
Yeah, Gallo been around for a while. So, hey, man, fellas. If y'all need some help on the Christmas gifts ideas, hit my DM, bro. I got you too quick. I got some ideas for everybody. I've been going crazy on the Christmas gifts. If y'all need some ideas, let me know. I feel like I got a good list rocking for the lady.
Yeah, I still need to grab her shit. See, when you have a kid, bro, it becomes more about all right, I need to grab as much shit as possible for
the kid. Yeah,
for the kid. Yeah. I got a couple ideas.
Yeah, let me know if y'all need some suggestions.
It's also hard because I wanted there was some shit I wanted to get, but it's like shit that would be good if we were going somewhere, but
right. It's like
going nowhere. So it's like pivot to all right, what's some cool shit for the crib?
Right, exactly. So that's what I got some ideas. Holla at your boy. But that's it, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you give thanks. Take some time. Think about family, friends. Shoot out the messages. Holla at your people. For Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. No Catch Up, Sports Talk via Chicago. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, iTunes, Spotify. Tell the homies, tell a friend. We lit. No Catch Up, Sports Talk via Chicago. We out here.